You see, everybody wants to talk about success, but nobody wants to talk about the quiet nights when no one's watching. They want the applause, the attention, the validation. But the truth is the real work happens in silence. The grind is lonely. It's dark. It's painful. And it's where most people quit. You've got to understand this. Success doesn't come from talking about it, posting about it, or waiting for someone to notice your effort. Success is built in the moments when you're alone, when it's 4 a.m., when everyone else is sleeping, and you're still out there putting in the work. That's where champions are made. Most people are addicted to recognition. They want to be seen grinding. They want to be noticed sweating. But the people who truly rise to the top, they don't need to be seen. They don't need to prove anything. Their results will speak for them. That's the meaning of grind in silence. You've got to get comfortable being unseen. You've got to learn to love the process when there's no crowd, no likes, no validation. Because when the world is silent, that's when your mind starts talking. That's when the excuses come in, whispering that you've done enough, that no one cares. But that's also when you find out who you really are. The grind is where the weak are separated from the strong. The grind doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about your background, your comfort, your mood, or your motivation. The grind only respects discipline. People think they can fake the grind. They think they can post about working hard and somehow trick success into showing up. But the grind knows the truth. You can't fake consistent work. You can't cheat repetition. The grind remembers. When you grind in silence, you build a different kind of strength. You build patience. You build humility. You learn to find satisfaction, not in the praise, but in the progress. You learn to love the pain because you know what it's doing. It's building you. It's forging you into someone unbreakable. There will be days when you question yourself, when your body is screaming for rest, your mind tells you it's pointless, and your heart feels empty. Those are the moments that define you. That's when you either fold or you rise. And if you choose to rise, you're no longer the same person. You become someone who doesn't need recognition, who doesn't need anyone to clap for them. Because deep down, you know you're doing something that most people will never do. And that's enough. You've got to become addicted to the shadows, the silence, the loneliness, because in those spaces, greatness is born. The noise of the world can't reach you there. The opinions, the distractions, the doubt, they fade away. And all that's left is you and your mission. When you grind in silence, every drop of sweat means something. Every rep, every failure, every setback, it's a part of the blueprint. People won't understand it. They'll think you're crazy. They'll call you obsessed. Let them. Because when you finally rise, when your success finally speaks, the same people who doubted you will be the ones asking how you did it. Let them talk. Let them doubt. You stay focused. You stay locked in. Because the truth is, the loudest person in the room usually isn't the one doing the work. The loudest person in the room is often the weakest. Real strength doesn't need to announce itself. It just shows up. There's power in silence. There's power in keeping your goals private, your moves quiet, and your progress hidden. Because when you move in silence, no one can interfere. No one can sabotage what they can't see. You protect your energy. You protect your focus. You protect your grind. Every morning when you wake up, you've got two choices. You can talk about it, or you can be about it. Talking feels good. Grinding feels lonely. Talking gets attention. Grinding gets results. The grind doesn't reward the talkers. It rewards the doers. The people who show up every single day, regardless of how they feel. The people who don't need to post every workout, every struggle, every win. The ones who let the work speak. That's what being unstoppable looks like. You've got to learn to fall in love with boredom, the repetition, the grind that feels endless, because that's where mastery lives. People chase motivation, but motivation is fragile. It disappears when things get hard. Discipline is what carries you through the storm. When you grind in silence, every small win becomes sacred. You start appreciating progress, not perfection. You stop needing approval because your confidence starts coming from the work itself. You realize that every rep in the dark, every lonely mile, every painful moment is making you bulletproof. And one day, you'll walk into a room and your presence will say everything. You won't have to announce your success. You won't have to prove anything because people will feel it. They'll see the strength in your eyes, the calm in your spirit, the confidence in your walk. That's the reward of the silent grind. Remember this, when you grind in silence, the noise of success becomes a byproduct, not a goal. The goal is transformation, to become someone unrecognizable to your old self, to kill the weakness, the excuses, the fear that used to hold you back. That transformation doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the trenches, in the silence, in the moments when you're about to give up, but you don't. When no one would blame you for quitting, but you keep going anyway. You've got to understand, silence is not weakness. Silence is focus. Silence is strength under control. It's restraint when your ego wants to scream. It's patience when your soul is hungry for results. You've got to be okay with being unseen while you're building. Because greatness isn't built under the spotlight. It's built in the shadows. Every day you wake up, the world gives you two options: grind or settle. Most people settle. They hit snooze. They make excuses. They say, I'll start tomorrow. But you can't afford to think like that. Tomorrow is a lie. Tomorrow doesn't exist. All you've got is now. The reason people quit is because they crave instant results. They want to see progress fast. They want people to clap for them immediately. But the grind doesn't care about your impatience. It moves at its own pace. You can't rush mastery. You can't fake consistency. You've got to earn it. There are going to be days when your body hurts, when your mind says, I can't do this anymore. But that's exactly when you've got to push harder. Because the moment you feel like quitting is the exact moment you're closest to the next level. The pain you feel is the process of transformation. It's the cost of greatness. When you grind in silence, you start to understand something most people never will. That growth is ugly. It's not glamorous. It's not supposed to look good. You'll sweat, you'll bleed, you'll cry, and no one will care. But that's the point. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for the version of you that used to give up. You're doing it for the person inside who once doubted, who once played small. The grind is how you silence that voice. Every time you push through, every time you refuse to quit, that voice gets quieter until one day it's gone. And when that day comes, something changes inside you. You stop chasing validation. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop waiting for approval. Because you realize that the only person you need to impress is the one staring back at you in the mirror. That's when the grind becomes sacred. You start craving the work. You stop needing the noise. You stop needing people to understand you. Because deep down, you know, they couldn't handle the weight you carry. They couldn't handle your discipline, your pain, your drive. While they're sleeping, you're working. While they're scrolling, you're studying. While they're talking, you're executing. That's the difference. That's the separation. That's the reason why one day your silence will shake the room. See, success is quiet in the making but loud in the results. You don't need to announce every move. The results will make all the noise. You don't need to prove them wrong. The results will do it for you. You don't need to seek validation because the grind validates itself. You've got to get used to being misunderstood. People will call you obsessive, crazy, antisocial. They'll say you've changed, and you have, because you're no longer interested in average. You're no longer comfortable with mediocrity. You're chasing something bigger, something they can't see. They'll laugh at you until one day they'll quote you. They'll ignore you until one day they'll need you. They'll doubt you until one day they'll ask how you did it. And when that day comes, don't get emotional. Don't gloat. Just smile, because you'll know that every second you spent grinding in silence led you there. Every drop of sweat, every lonely night, every sacrifice, it mattered. It built you. It transformed you. But here's the truth. The grind never ends. The moment you think you've made it, the moment you relax, you start slipping. Comfort kills progress. Comfort destroys greatness. So when success comes, stay humble, stay disciplined, stay hungry. You can't let the applause make you forget the hunger. You can't let comfort erase the pain that made you, because that pain, that struggle, that silence, that's what gave you your edge. That's what separated you. That's what made you who you are. Keep your circle small. Keep your goals private. Move in silence. Let your results echo louder than any word you could ever say. Every rep, every mile, every setback, it's all part of the same mission. You're not competing against anyone else. You're competing against the version of you that stopped early, against the version of you that settled, against the version of you that wanted comfort more than greatness. When you grind in silence, you learn to hear your thoughts louder. You learn to talk to yourself in a different tone. You stop asking, "Can I?" and start saying, "Watch me." You stop doubting your path and start trusting your discipline. The grind teaches you self-respect. It teaches you patience. It teaches you that results don't come when you want them. They come when you've earned them. And that's the beauty of silence. Because in that quiet struggle, something inside you starts to awaken. A voice that says, "I will not stop." That voice is rare. Most people never hear it. They drown it out with distractions, with comfort, with excuses. But when you isolate yourself in the grind, when you tune out the noise, that voice becomes your greatest weapon. It becomes your compass. It becomes your fire. You realize you don't need motivation. You need discipline. You don't need validation. You need purpose. You don't need applause. You need action. That's how warriors are made. Not through talk, not through praise, but through relentless, silent work. You keep your head down. You keep grinding. You keep going when it's boring, when it's hard, when it's lonely. Because one day when it all clicks, when the doors start opening, when the world finally sees you, they'll think it happened overnight. But you'll know the truth. You'll know about the sleepless nights, the doubts, the discipline, the grind that no one saw. And that truth will be your reward. That's the noise you've been waiting for. The sound of success speaking for itself. So remember this: talk less, do more. Post less, execute more. Complain less, train more. Dream less, work more. Let your silence become your story. Let your results do the talking. Because the ones who grind in silence are the ones the world can't ignore.